Hey, it's Kurt with KH Model Works. This is a check-in video on the buddy build with BG. We're doing the 1978 Corvette. And I wanted to show you where I was, and I'll probably stitch this together over several updates and upload it in a few days. So I started fitting the body together. I started with the rear fascia and the gaps and the steps and stuff like that. So I've been sanding and I used some putty. Probably too much putty, but it's due for sanding now. Also this area here near the door handle, there was a mold line and there was a depression, so to smooth it out I had to use putty on either side. So that's coming. I don't have the nose handy, but I figured out that you can put the chassis into the body with both the bumpers in place, so I'm going to do that. Try to get the seam to look the best as I can, and it's going to be tricky because there is a visible line on the real car, but you also don't want a big nasty line through there, so I'm going to have to figure out the best way to handle that. And then there was a mold line here, which I sanded away. I sanded off the molded emblem because there's a decal for it, so that's where I am with that. I was going to use the 1970 Nova engine. This is a 125th scale engine I got on eBay from one of those kit breaker guys who sells the parts. But let me zoom in so you can see better. This is the kit engine here, and this is the Nova engine. This is 125th scale, and it's just way too small. Especially if you put in the chassis. Alright, so you put the engine in the chassis. Fits great, right? You know, fills up the engine bay. The transmission comes out to a good place. But the 125th scale engine is just kind of swimming in here. It's just too small. I'll save this engine for something else. So let me see. So the reason why I didn't want to use it in the first place was because you got the molded in starter, the molded in oil filter, and the molded in fuel pump. And so to mold it in, it's not a round object. It's like you see how it sort of becomes a triangle like that. And then the oil pan is molded to the engine block half. So there's a big seam there, so I had to use too much putty there also to try to fix that. So that's where I'm going with that. I also glued the seats together, so I'm getting to a point where I can start painting parts. And some other stuff showed up today. I got these Fireball Model Works tires. These are BF Goodrich, and it has a couple different sizes. So I ordered the 235 60R15s and the 295 50R15s. See, it's a big and little combination. I ordered 2 sets of each. Another thing I bought a long time ago for this kit, for this project, were these resin wheels, and for the life of me, I can't remember right now where I got them from. They were on eBay, but I can't remember the seller. But it's a naked Chevy rally wheel. It's kind of hard to see. It's white, but it's the rally wheel without the center cap and the chrome ring. So that's one idea I could use. I don't know, it's just a possibility. I do kind of like the pace car wheels. So it's just another choice. Anyway, so I'll stitch this together when I make some more progress, and thanks for watching. And just like that, it's a few days later. I think 2 or 3 days later. I don't know. It's Saturday now. I think I shot the last segment on Wednesday, Thursday. Well, I don't remember. But anyway, so here's the body. Now you see I've got the nose and the rear bumper and the wing attached, and so you're probably wondering, oh, look at this blue nose. What's going on here? So when I first started this the other night, Monday, as soon as I got back from Nationals, I tried to be clever, and I wanted to try to open up the grills in the front, right? So I started sanding the inside, but it was hard to get in there, and I wasn't making a lot of progress, so I got impatient, and I thought, okay, so if I cut this piece out, then I could take it out and rub it against a piece of sandpaper and open it up. But the knife slipped, and I, right across the face of the grill. So that didn't happen. But I have the Street Machine version of this kit, which is molded in blue, and it has like a custom nose and big fender flares and stuff like that. So I used the stock nose from that kit, and it fit poorly. So a lot of sanding, a little bit of putty work here. And let me zoom in. Alright, so you see I've got tape here, and that's going over the headlight doors. So I think it's still blurry. Is that better? Is that better? It's like at the eye doctor, right? Number 1 or number 2? Okay, and so I put the tape here to protect those panel lines, the openings for the headlight doors, because you can start to obscure a line real quick if you sand it too much. So this is getting smoothed in. So the fit isn't so great. So I was sanding and sanding, but the thing is you got to be careful because you can sand too much and make a sharp edge and like a facet where it should be more of a blended curved line. So just you just got to pay attention to what you're doing if you want to build one of these. So I also glued in the front fender, this front air dam thing and the fender flares. It fit really well. It fit really well on the driver's side, but there's a little bit of a gap on the passenger side, so that's got some putty mess that I've got to clean up. And I was really fretting over the fit of the rear bumper to the body. So it was kind of a long seam here, and I was fairing it in and using putty and stuff, and I was like, wait a minute, the wing goes right over the seam. So it was a pretty nice looking seam, but it the wing covers it up. And then positioning the wing, there's no clear, there's no detents, there's no pins, there's no nothing. So you just, the only guide you have is there's a cutout here, because this is the fuel door. And so you have to kind of line that up. But then it slips around, so you can glue the middle down, but then the ends are still a little bit floppy. I pulled up a picture of my phone, and it was a really good shot just of this area. So I was able to try to line it up the best I could, according to the picture. So, yeah, that's where the body is. And I was working on another model doing primer, so I primered some of the parts for this. Then I cleaned up the mold line there. So this is the the rear axle. There's the front suspension. Here's the leaf spring. That's kind of mushed up. I'm gonna bend that into place. Anyway, so I haven't done a mock-up like BG did, but I kind of like the raked look because I got those bigger rear tires. So kind of the idea is to make this look kind of like how I might, if I had a 78 Corvette, how mine might look. I'm not going to reveal my paint job and all my ideas yet, but you'll see it come together. Well, I'll check in another time once I've got some more parts painted. Okay, this is a quick check-in on the BG Buddy build, 1978 Corvette. So I've assembled most of the engine. Left the valve covers off because they're a different color. So I primered the whole thing with MRP fine silver primer. The reason for that is I'm going to use this as a base layer I'm going to try to do some chipping. Right, so I'm going to spray some hairspray over the engine and then paint it blue, and then use the chipping technique. So I saw a characteristic of a lot of these seem to have chipping around the bottom of the oil pan, and maybe I'll just do a little bit around here, just on the rest of the block, very subtly. See if that helps give it that used but not abused look. Okay, so I just wanted to memorialize the fact that the engine is nice and pretty in silver for now, and then it won't be for very much longer. Okay, I'm back. I've done some more painting, some more work on this one. This is the chassis. So, okay, here we go. From this angle you can see. What I did is I went through and I painted tire black on the bottom of the chassis, not the frame rails. And I tried to spray it in a little bit of an irregular pattern to try to give an impression of the sort of way these look. When you see pictures of them on lifts, they'll have sort of a, not a perfectly smooth coat of paint or whatever the material is under there. That's what I hope to achieve here. The frame is still in the primer color, and I'm going to do some masking here and paint that semi-gloss black or gloss black, or I'm not sure exactly which color, but it's going to be black. And then I'm going to go back through and distress it a little bit. And let's see, painted a bunch of other parts. Here's a representative example. Here's the front suspension. It's kind of neat to have the one-piece front suspension because you eliminate the possibility of an alignment issue. But what I did here was I used semi-gloss black thinned with Mr. Rapid Thinner. It's Tamiya lacquer. Now with the Rapid Thinner, you get a little bit duller finish. So that's what I was going for here, because suspension components seem to be sort of like lightly painted with a glossy paint, but not with a deep, rich gloss, right? But they're not flat. So I think I got the look I was going for with this. And here's the engine. I painted it with Tester's Model Master Lacquer Ford Engine Blue. I'm pretty happy with this. Then I'm going to do some chipping, maybe after I edit and upload this video. So the color looks about right, I guess. I'm going to have to go back through and do some detailed painting of the starter and the oil filter and the fuel pump. But I've pretty much eliminated the seam on the oil pan, and I'll proceed with that. And the body. So I've been doing a lot of body work. Okay, here in this section, you see I was testing my idea of how to mask the pinstripe. So this pinstripe's a little bit wider than I want, but I might be able to go a little bit thinner. But this was just a test while I was shooting some primer, and I've been doing spot priming with black Mr. Surfacer 1500 finishing surfacer to check my body work. And there's still a little bit more work that needs to be done down here where the bumper, this lower part where the bumper meets the body, and then where the bumper meets the body here. And then on the nose, I had to do a lot of work, try to make that look as smooth as possible. So this is I filled and sanded and then spot primered here, and did some more sanding to try to get this as smooth as possible. Now, if you look at pictures of Corvettes with the rubber, not the rubber nose, the the urethane nose, they actually look like they don't fit very well, right? There's sort of a wavy line and an inconsistent gap. So that's just not going to cut it, I'm going to try to make that as smooth as possible, even though on the real car, like this, like you see how inconsistent that gap is? But yeah, my model's not going to look like that. So I think I'm almost there with the body. And hopefully I can get this into a full coat of primer and start painting it before too long. Let's see, and haven't really done work on the interior. What I'm trying to figure out is the best order of operations, because it's going to be a tan interior, and I've got like several different shades of tan in acrylic, but some of this part, like this part here, is black. This part, the top part of the center console, is a black panel. So, but masking over acrylics, it can lift. So I'm not sure if I should paint this black and then mask it and then paint the rest of the interior parts with the tan. So I'm trying to figure out the order of operations there. So that's where I am with this. I'm going to upload the video now and keep working on this. But I wanted to get chronology of updates and let you know that I'm working pretty hard on this one, and that's all I got. So check out Brian's channel. It looks like he's catching up on finishing up a lot of models, and he posted an update this week, I think. I don't remember. Everything's a blur. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Oh, this other one, this is the other part I wanted to show. Let's see. I painted the air cleaner with the same semi-gloss black, and then I was able, then this part right here, this part I think is flat black on the car. I'll triple check my references. But I was able to paint it right down to here without getting overspray on the part that's going to remain flat black. So I might be able just to go with this without having to touch anything up. All right, so that's really it. And thanks, and I'll see you next time. Take care.